Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're really immersing ourselves in some profound folklore from ancient Kangleipak, what we now know as Manipur.
That's right. And our source is just fantastic. It's a core Phunga folktale, the tale of Sandrembi and Chaishra. Now, Phunga tales, these are the traditional stories, shared around the fire, foundational stuff.
And this one is, well, it's an epic, isn't it? We're following one person through 4 cycles of death and rebirth, all driven by this relentless envy.
It really makes you ask, not just does good win, but how many times does it have to be stamped out before it finally, sticks, before justice prevails for good?
Exactly. How many times can that pure spirit be extinguished?
It's such a powerful look at resilience, spiritually speaking. The story basically says, look, truth and virtue, they're stronger than death itself. They keep coming back through nature, through magic, until things are set right.
Okay, let's get into this journey then. Where does it all begin?
We start way back. In the Hayachak era, ancient Kangleipak, ruled by King Sandrembi, and the setup is key. It's domestic. We meet a nobleman, Kulen Nganba.
Right, and he has 2 wives.
Yes. The elder wife, Yankulema, she's Sandrembi's mother, and the younger wife, Sandrembi Chaishra's mother.
But then tragedy hits it almost immediately.
It does. The nobleman dies. Suddenly, the widows have to provide for the family. So they start fishing every day at Shilimpat. That's Shilim Lake.
And right away, this daily chore, it exposes the darkness, the envy.
Absolutely. The story makes a point of this contrast. Yankulema, the elder, she's always successful, basket full of good fish. But Sandrembi, the younger one, terrible luck, just catches, snakes, slimy things, reptiles, and this difference just eats away at her. That jealousy grows.
It grows until it boils over into, well, murder. The first one.
Yes. They're resting under a fig tree. Sandrembi sees her chance. She offers Yankulema a sweet fig playing on that sisterly trust.
Well, this part's chilling.
It is. Yankulema closes her eyes, opens her mouth for the fig, and Sandrembi just dumps her entire basket of writhing snakes and creatures right in. Kills her instantly.
Horrifying. And the cover-up.
Quick and cold. Sandrembi pushes the body into the lake. Shailampad tells everyone, oh, she must have drowned, or maybe she just ran off. Left us.
But her spirit doesn't just disappear.
No. That's crucial. As her body sinks, it magically transforms into a tortoise, the first transformation.
So the physical form is gone, but the spirit finds this new vessel, a hidden one. How does this affect Sandrembi, her daughter?
Oh, Sandrembi's life becomes pure misery. She's now under the thumb of her cruel stepmother, Sandrembi, and her stepsister, Chaishra. Just awful treatment.
But the mother's spirit finds a way.
It does. Yankulema appears to Sandrembi in a dream. She reveals everything. The murder, her transformation into the tortoise.
And she gives instructions, right? Way to reverse it.
Yes. The first condition, it's very specific, very demanding. Sandrembi has to find that tortoise and keep it safe inside a pitcher for 5 whole days without any interruption.
5 days? If she manages that, her mother comes back.
She'll be restored to human form. That's the promise. Sandrembi finds the tortoise. She starts the vigil. But, well, things go wrong.
Chaishra.
Before the 5 days are up, she discovers the tortoise, runs to her mother, and Sandrembi just cruelly forces Sandrembi to boil the tortoise for them to eat.
That's just devastating. And the story includes something really poignant here, doesn't it? The tortoise speaks.
It does. As the water heats up, Sandrembi hears this faint voice from the pot, her mother's voice saying, I'm so hurt, in Manipuri, Imadi Wareda.
Wow, that detail adds so much weight.
It really does. It makes it clear this isn't just a magical object. The spirit is experiencing this agony. It makes Sandrembi's act even more, profoundly evil.
And Sandrembi tries to stop it.
She does. She tries desperately. But the stepmother holds her back, forces her to continue, and the voice comes again. It has reached my waist. And then finally,
oh no,
it has reached my neck now. My time to go to the land of spirits has come.
Unbelievably cruel. So the first attempt at resurrection fails horribly. What happens after the meal?
The spirit appears to Sandrembi again. There's another chance, but the rules are stricter now.
Okay, what's the second condition?
She has to carefully gather all the bones from the tortoise, keep them completely undisturbed in a special basket for 7 consecutive days.
7 days this time. Another test of patience, of faith.
Exactly. And Sandrembi follows the instructions perfectly. She guards the basket, but her own anxiety, maybe her desperate longing to see her mother, it gets the better of her.
She peeks, doesn't she?
Just before the 7th day is over, she lifts the cover just a tiny bit to look, And that small act, that moment of impatience, it breaks the magic.
So no mother.
No. Instead, a beautiful sparrow suddenly flies out from the bones and vanishes into the sky, leaving Sandrembi completely heartbroken. Again.
It's almost like these failures are necessary steps.
That's an interesting way to put it. Maybe she had to fail privately, twice. The tortoise, then the sparrow. Maybe learning that hard lesson in patience was part of the journey, preparing her for what comes next.
Yeah, because the first two were kind of hidden transformations, right? Tortoise in the water, bones in a basket. The sparrow takes flight, more visible, but still elusive.
Right. The spiritual power is there, it's growing, maybe. But it hasn't quite found a form that can stand up to the evil out in the open world yet.
So, time passes.
Years go by. Sandrembi and Chaishra are now young women. And the story really emphasizes the contrast between them.
How so?
Sandrembi, despite wearing rags, has grown up incredibly beautiful, graceful. Her inner goodness shines through. Chaishra, even though she's dressed in fine clothes by her mother, is unpleasant, unattractive. Her inner malice is visible on the outside.
Inner beauty versus outer appearance. A classic theme.
And this contrast becomes critical when the king enters the picture, King Sandrembi. He sees both of them fetching water one day.
And he's drawn to Sandrembi immediately.
Instantly captivated by her genuineness, her purity. Sandrembi, probably scared or maybe just humble, tries to point him towards Chaishra, who's better dressed.
But the king says something quite insightful here, doesn't he?
He does. It's a famous line in Manipur. He says, Sanabun pubi pamde, pun pubi pami.
Which means?
Roughly, I don't like the one carrying the fancy vessel, Sanabun. I like the one with the simple mud pot, pun. He's saying, I see through the superficial stuff. I see the true worth.
I love that. It shows his wisdom. He's not fooled by appearances.
Exactly. It shows that true nobility, true value, isn't about the clothes you wear. The king, the ruler, recognizes inner virtue.
So naturally, the stepmother tries one last trick.
Of course. The next day, she forces the girls to switch clothes. Puts Chaishra in rags, Sandrembi in the finer clothes, tries to fool the king.
Does it work?
Not for a second. The king's mind is made up. He saw the spear he wanted. He recognizes Sandrembi immediately, marries her, makes her his queen.
Finally, some happiness for Sandrembi.
Yes, and they even have a son, the prince, Machi Sana Melekomba. But this period of joy just seems to inflame the jealousy of Sankolema and Chaishra even more.
They can't stand seeing her happy and powerful.
Apparently not. They hatch another plan. Invite the queen, Sandrembi, back to her old home for a meal. It's a trap.
The second murder attempt. How do they do it this time?
It's cunning and cruel. Chaishra accidentally drops Sandrembi's royal clothes under the bed. When Sandrembi bends down low to pick them up,
Oh no, don't tell me.
the stepmother is waiting with a huge pot of scalding, boiling water, pours it right over her.
Just like that. She dies again. The third time.
Yes, killed in her old home by the same people, but again, her spirit refuses to be extinguished. Instantly, it transforms, this time, into a beautiful pigeon.
A pigeon. And it flies away.
Flies away, immediately escaping the scene. Meanwhile, Chaishra quickly puts on the dead queen's royal robes. The imposter takes her place.
And tries to fool the king again.
She goes back to the palace, tries to pass herself off as Sandrembi. The king, of course, he knows something's wrong immediately. This isn't his wife.
What does Chaishra say?
She makes up some excuse, claims her face looks different, maybe puffy or something, because she was crying so much, missing him while she was away.
Does he buy it?
He's deeply suspicious. He knows this isn't the woman he married, the spirit he recognized, but maybe he needs proof, or perhaps he's just waiting, observing. He doesn't act immediately.
And the pigeon. Sandrembi's spirit.
The pigeon flies to the royal garden. And this form is different. This time, the spirit can speak. Publicly.
It communicates. To whom?
It lands near the royal gardener, or maybe a grass cutter, and sings a warning, a very direct song.
What does it say?
Something like, Sandrembi is here in the tree, Chaishra is sitting on the throne, O king, have you forgotten your true wife? And to prove it's not just any bird, it mentions things only the real queen might know, like the prince isn't happy, or that the gardener recently lost his sickle. Specific details.
Clever. That must have gotten the gardener's attention.
It definitely did. He reports this strange talking bird to the king. The king is intrigued, maybe hopeful. He goes to the garden himself.
And the pigeon?
It recognizes him, flies down, and lands gently right on his hand, a clear sign.
Wow. So the king knows now.
He brings the bird into the palace. And there, the pigeon shows its true nature. It goes to the young prince, her son, and tenderly starts grooming him, like removing little specks of dust from his eyes. Pure motherly instinct shining through.
That must have sealed it for the king. But Chaishra sees this.
Chaishra sees this interaction, this bond between the bird and the prince, and she knows she's in trouble. So while the king is occupied or away for a moment,
She kills the pigeon. The fourth murder.
yes, catches it, kills it, and then does something truly awful. She cooks it and serves it to the king for his meal.
No, she serves him his wife.
Unbelievably, yes. But a servant sees what happened, knows the truth, and manages to warn the king just before he eats.
Thank goodness. What does the king do?
He's horrified, absolutely grief-stricken. He refuses the food, of course, and then, very carefully, very respectfully, he takes the remains of the pigeon and buries them behind the royal kitchen, treating them like the remains of his actual wife.
That burial. It feels significant.
It is, because this leads to the final and most stable transformation. Overnight, right where the king buried the pigeon's remains, a plant sprouts. A beautiful, luscious fruit plant.
Growing right from her essence, basically.
Exactly. Now, Sankulima, the stepmother, sees this new fruit plant. Still oblivious, or maybe just greedy, she picks one of the ripe fruits.
And gives it away.
Yes. Gives it to a passing monk, or maybe just a palace servant. This person takes the fruit and puts it away safely in a jar or a container in their room.
Okay, and this leads to that famous proverb.
It does. Because strange things start happening. The monk notices that sometimes the fruit is there, but he can't find his knife to cut it. Other times he has the knife ready, but the fruit seems to have vanished from the jar.
Hey le raga thang le raga hey leda.
Precisely. When the fruit is ripe, the knife is missing. When the blade is in hand, the fruit has vanished. It perfectly captures that feeling of being just out of sync, doesn't it? Like justice is almost there, but the timing isn't quite right. Reflects the whole story up to this point.
The cosmic frustration, as you said earlier. But things change now.
Yes. The monk also notices something else. Every day when he comes back, his little house is spotlessly clean and a fresh meal is cooked and waiting for him.
Someone's been there.
He gets suspicious. So one day, he pretends to leave as usual, but he hides nearby and watches.
And he sees her.
He sees the lid of the jar lift, and emerging from it is this incredibly beautiful woman. It's Sandrembi, the fruit maiden. She comes out, tidies his place, cooks his food.
The final transformation revealed.
He recognizes her immediately as the lost Queen Sandrembi. He understands everything now. He takes her straight back to the palace, to the king.
The confrontation. Finally.
Yes. Sandrembi stands before the king, restored. Facing the imposter, Chaishra. The king sees his true wife, the real Sandrembi, and he knows the moment has come. He decrees a trial by ordeal.
A divine test. To settle it once and for all, publicly.
Exactly. This isn't just about the king's belief anymore. It's about divine proof for the whole kingdom. Chaishra, as the one basically making the false claim to the throne, is given the advantage. A sharp new sword.
And Sandrembi.
Sandrembi, the one representing truth and endurance, is given only an old, rusty, blunt knife. It looks completely hopeless for her.
But her virtue is her shield.
Literally. Chaishra attacks her furiously with the sharp sword, but it's like hitting air. An invisible force protects Sandrembi. The sword just can't touch her. It proves her innocence, her divine protection right there for everyone to see.
Undeniable proof.
And then? Sandrembi stands calmly. She whispers a simple prayer. And then the miracle happens. That old, rusty knife, it leaps from her hand on its own, flies through the air, empowered by her purity and the weight of all the injustice, and strikes Chaishra down. Justice is finally, definitively served.
Wow. Though you mentioned there's sometimes a gentler ending.
That's true. Some versions of the tale have Sandrembi, in her ultimate goodness, actually forgive Chaishra. In those, Chaishra lives on, but humbled, maybe as a lesser queen or servant, constantly reminded of the virtue that defeated her.
Either way, the core message lands.
Absolutely. The legacy of virtue is cemented. The story teaches that true beauty, real strength, comes from a pure heart. And that kind of spirit. No amount of cruelty, no amount of death can ultimately suppress it. It endures, even across lifetimes.
It really is profound, thinking about those 4 transformations. Tortoise, sparrow, pigeon, then the fruit maiden. It feels like a progression, doesn't it?
It does. From water to air, and finally rooted in the earth, providing sustenance. Like, she had to go through these phases to return fully, more stably. The fruit, growing from where she was respectfully buried by the king, couldn't be easily destroyed or dismissed like the earlier forms.
The physical forms kept failing, But the spirit, the core essence, never gave up.
Never. And the final form, the fruit maiden emerging from the jar, led to that public revelation and the trial. Malice couldn't stamp it out this time.
So the final thought for you, listening. Think about that cycle. Were those earlier failures necessary? Did Sandrembi need the tortoise and the sparrow stages to, build resilience, to learn patience?
Did those private heartbreaks somehow pave the way for the final, undeniable public victory? A victory witnessed by everyone and confirmed by divine intervention.
Something to definitely mull over. Was that cycle of failure essential for the ultimate permanent triumph of truth? That's something to consider until our next deep dive.